All right, welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive.
Great to be here. This one's, well, it's something else.
It really is. We're going into a world tonight where the basic rules just seem to flip. Imagine this. It's a totally normal August night in Stockholm. Nothing special.
Right. Mundane, even.
Exactly. And then suddenly, the laws of life and death, they
Right.
just reverse. No warning. And we're not talking about a horror movie trope here. This becomes real.
Yeah, undeniably real within the story's world. And it starts with something subtle, almost technical. What if the electricity around us, the stuff powering everything, suddenly turned inside out?
It's such a chilling way to begin. So today we're diving deep into John Ajvide Lindqvist's novel, Handling the Undead.
And let's be clear, this isn't your standard zombie story. Not by a long shot. Lindqvist uses this premise to explore some really profound things.
Like what?
Well, grief, obviously, but also the nature of consciousness itself. And maybe most importantly, how we cope when something utterly impossible smacks us right in the face.
It's an incredible setup. And for our deep dive, we've pulled out some really powerful excerpts from the novel.
Yeah, bits that drop you right into the middle of it. The initial shock, the desperate reactions, people just trying to make sense of it.
And all those philosophical questions that bubble up when the dead start to relive, as the book calls it.
Right. Relive. That term itself is so loaded.
So our mission for you, listening in, is to navigate this story with us. We'll pull out the key moments, look at the science, spirituality.
And the personal journeys, because that's where the heart of this really lies. The people caught up in it.
We're not just going to recap the plot. We want to dig into what it means, for how we think about life, loss. What are the boundaries, really?
Yeah, it gets pretty unsettling. But there are also these moments of unexpected connection that emerge from the chaos. It's quite something.
Okay, let's get into it. To really grasp this, we need to start where Lindqvist starts that weird evening, the first hints that something is fundamentally wrong.
The electrical anomaly.
Exactly. We meet Henning, Svevigen Street, Stockholm. It's August 13th, just before 11 p.m. And he's got this killer headache.
But it's immediately clear this isn't just a migraine, is it?
No way. He feels this electric tension in the air. He says it's all but unbearable.
And Lindqvist uses this amazing phrase. He calls it a blackout in reverse. Think about that.
Yeah, what does that even mean in practice?
Well, from about 9 p.m. onwards, nothing electric can be switched off. Lamps, TVs, computers, everything is stuck on.
You try to pull the plug.
You get alarming crackling sounds and sparks. So it's not just that things are stuck on, there's this active, hostile energy field building up.
Hostile is the right word. It's causing physical pain.
A constant burning pain, yeah, like people's heads are being squeezed far underwater. It's this relentless sensory assault.
The way Henning describes it, imagining an electric fence around his head, torturing him, just brutal.
And he sees other people on the street doing the same thing, clutching their heads. It's not just him.
Right. We hear about an ambulance, siren blaring, can't turn it off, cars just idling, stuck.
And later, David, another main character, his phone won't turn off, and the battery bar is actually going up.
That's so backwards.
It is. And Mahler, his computer screen just stays on, glowing. It's this complete loss of basic control.
So think about that for a second. What happens to you mentally when you can't even turn off a light? When that simple act of control is gone?
And add that constant grinding physical pain on top.
Yeah.
How fast does your sense of reality just start to fray?
Yeah. We rely on being able to, manage our environment, turn things down, find quiet.
This isn't like a power cut, which is annoying, but, understandable. This is fundamental. Control is just gone on a personal level and environmental level.
It's the perfect setup, isn't it? This physical manifestation of the deeper reversal that's coming.
The world's nervous system just screaming.
And it's definitely not just Henning. This is hitting people all across Stockholm. Yeah.
Right. Widespread distress. People are literally screaming out of windows. There's this feeling that something is about to happen, a collective dread.
Like the whole city is in agony together.
Exactly. The individual pain becomes this city-wide tremor. You mentioned Elvy and Flora.
Yeah.
They feel this weird gust of force blow through them. And they hear this noise, like a radio dial spinning, just fragments of panicked voices in their heads.
So it's auditory, too, not just the physical pain.
Seems like it. Henning hears screams, thinks he's actually dying. David, he's working at this club, Nora Brunn, and the house lights are stuck on full blast. He sees the audience just squinting, their faces look pained. And his phone, like you said, it feels unusually warm, battery heating up instead of draining.
It's like that feeling before a massive thunderstorm.
Yeah.
That heavy electric tension.
Exactly that. But cranked up to 11, to an unbearable, almost hallucinatory level. It really hints that reality is maybe way more complex and fragile than we like to think.
The whole world holding its breath before it breaks.
And then it does. The break comes not with a bang, but with silence.
A ping moment.
Yeah. Just as the pain gets beyond reason for Henning and David, it just stops abruptly. Ping! It was gone! Like throwing a switch. Gone.
Wow. That sudden shift must be incredibly jarring.
Yeah.
From total sensory overload
To absolute silence and darkness. The sirens stop, the humming stops, the pain stops.
It's the calm after the storm almost.
Or the calm before the real storm. Because this is the exact moment the world changes forever.
And for David, it's intensely personal too, isn't it?
Oh, hugely. In that silence, his wife Eva's hand, which he was holding, she had passed away. Her hand jerked, squeezed back.
Oh my God.
That's his first sign, her awakening.
In Henning, what happens to him?
The headache vanishes, the bee swarm in his head stops. He wants to be grateful, but he says his jaws were locked, cramped shut. Still in shock.
And then he finds himself lying on a grave.
Yeah, totally disoriented. He's on a marble grave reading the names Carl and Greta, a little bit of foreshadowing there.
And David feels the same sudden stop. Pain gone, sirens quiet, lights dimming.
And then Eva's hand squeezing his. It's such a powerful moment. Relief mixed with this dawning, terrifying new possibility.
So that sudden quiet, that ping, it's not really an ending.
Not at all. It's the starting gun. It marks the precise beginning of the impossible.
And from that silence, the dead return.
Yeah. The transition is immediate. The first reports start trickling in right after that ping around 11:10 p.m.
And they're unbelievable at first, right? Fragmented, confusing.
Exactly. These first snippets are crucial for building that slow burn dread because what people are reporting just shatters everything we understand about death.
Like what? What are the first things people see?
Well, there's an old man observed on the street, completely naked, outside the aged care facility, does not respond to speech, just standing there.
Okay, weird, but maybe explainable.
Maybe. But then a young man hit by a van, stomach split open, just stands up and walks away.
Right, that's not explainable.
Not at all. And the first official emergency call that really flags this is something else. An elderly woman calls because her sister, who died 2 weeks ago but lived with her for years, has just shown up at the door.
Imagine getting that call at dispatch. Or being that woman, what do you even think?
Exactly. How do you react? Is it a ghost? An imposter? Or something else? These aren't ghosts, though. They're physical.
And it quickly becomes clear this isn't just isolated incidents. It's bigger.
Much bigger. The focus shifts rapidly to the morgues all across Stockholm.
The official reports just state it plainly. The dead come back to life at every morgue.
That's when the scale hits. This isn't a few anomalies, it's systemic.
And the system just can't handle it.
Completely overwhelmed, public services are strained immediately. Think about the hospitals. Lude, a custodian at Dandred Hospital, calls Mahler in hysterics.
What does he say?
The stiffs. The corpses in the morgue, they've come back to life. It's complete chaos. You could just feel the panic.
And the numbers just keep climbing.
Exponentially. Dandred admits 430 of these. Reliving. By 1 a.m. By 1:45 a.m., it's 7:15. Just one hospital.
So the military gets called in.
Yeah, but not for fighting. They're needed for exhumations, managing the sheer logistics because the police are swamped.
And that's when they coined the term reliving.
Right. It's this immediate bureaucratic impulse, isn't it? Find a term, manage the narrative for the press. Reliving. It tries to soften it, maybe. Avoid panic.
But it also feels like a way to avoid saying what it really is, or what they fear it is.
Absolutely. It highlights the practical nightmare, but also hints at something weirder happening even among the living staff.
The telepathy thing.
Yeah, early reports mention hospital staff having conflicts, claiming they can read each other's thoughts. So it's not just the dead changing, something's affecting the living too.
Wow. Okay, so this poses huge ethical questions, doesn't it?
Right.
For hospitals, families, how do you treat someone who is technically dead but moving? Are they a patient, a threat, a miracle?
There's no playbook for this. Which brings us to the core of the story. The personal encounters, the individuals dealing with their own returned loved ones.
David and Eva, Mahler and Elias, Elvy and Flora.
And each story shows a totally different reaction. David's is just pure emotional whiplash.
From grief to hope to horror.
Exactly. He's at the hospital, sees Eva, he's completely numb, mumbling, everything's over, you don't exist anymore. Total despair.
And then her hand squeezes his.
Right. And she sits up, just sits there, Picking at a plastic cup. It's such a strange, mundane detail in an impossible situation.
Does she recognize him? Does she speak?
She speaks eventually, which is apparently very rare for the reliving, but her voice is wrong. Metallic, raspy, and the words seem new to her, as if she was testing them.
So there's this flicker of hope for David. Maybe she's back.
A desperate hope. But then, the rabbit incident.
Ugh, yeah. Balthazar.
Eva just blankly, emotionlessly, rips the head off Magnus's pet rabbit and looks at it. No anger, no sadness, just observation.
And that's when the hope dies for David.
Utterly. Replaced by horror. He sees this isn't Eva. Not really.
Then there's Mahler. He's driven by guilt, right?
Deep guilt. About his career, his relationship with his daughter, Elias's mother. So when he hears about the awakenings, he doesn't hesitate.
Straight to the cemetery.
Digging with his bare hands. Like a man possessed, driven by this raw need, maybe for redemption, he hears scraping.
Finds Elias. But Elias has been buried for a month.
Yeah. He's mummified by the dry earth. Skin like parchment, orange-brown, features shrunken black. It's a grotesque sight.
But he's reliving.
He is. Cold, stiff, like a reptile, but moving. For Mahler, this isn't just grief, it's a mission, atonement, a fight against decay itself.
And Elvy's reaction is completely different. She sees her husband Tor dead 7 years, and she's happy.
Not just happy, vindicated. For her, it's proof. The resurrection, she calls it. Her faith gives her an immediate explanation.
How does Tor seem?
He walks stiffly, unused to his newfound body. There's that weird smell she notices. Chilled hospital smell, mixed with something sweeter, more fruity.
Like decay.
Possibly. And her granddaughter Flora confirms he's really there. It's not just Elvy's wishful thinking.
These stories really ground it, don't they? Make the impossible feel personal.
Absolutely. They force you to ask, what would I do? How far would I go? And what is this state they're in? Is it life? Something else.
Okay, so we have the personal chaos. What about the official response? Society trying to wrap its head around this.
Well, the first thing is trying to manage the situation. They set up a command unit, the dead room.
Guess your name?
Right. And one of the first big decisions is that official term, reliving.
We talked about that, trying to control the narrative.
Exactly. Choosing reliving over something like living dead, which CNN apparently misreported it as initially, is a very deliberate attempt to, well, manage panic, frame it.
Even though the word itself feels inadequate.
Yeah.
Evasive.
It totally reveals their discomfort, doesn't it? Trying to put a neat label on the completely unlabelable.
And the scale of it forces even the highest levels of government to react. The Prime Minister cancels a meeting with Mandela.
Yeah, that detail really lands the global significance. This isn't just a local Swedish problem, it's world-changing.
But his public statement falls flat for some, like Elvy.
Right. He tries to reassure people nothing separates these people from us.
Yeah.
Trying to normalize it, maybe. But Elvy wants spiritual answers, and he's giving political speak.
Even the military struggles with the language.
Yeah, General Stenberg initially calls them corpses, a logistical problem, purely practical, until he's corrected on the correct terminology, reliving.
It's fascinating how crucial language becomes in a crisis like this. How we frame it dictates how we react.
Totally. And you have to wonder, how would this reshape everything? Politics, international relations, just everyday conversation.
And speaking of conversation, the media jumps on this immediately.
Oh, instantly. Global media frenzy.
Yeah.
Which, of course, ramps up the pressure on the authorities for answers. Accurate answers, hopefully.
But accuracy is tricky in chaos.
Very. That CNN Living Dead error is a perfect example of how fast information and misinformation spreads.
The public is desperate for news, for explanations.
While the dead room is still scrambling to understand what's even happening, the Morning Echo reports 2,000 Swedes return to life. The numbers are staggering.
And then you get the cultural reaction, like the comedian making jokes.
Benny, yeah. He jokes they're not real, you didn't have to have any respect, which just highlights the dehumanization that can happen.
And that hits David hard, given what he's going through with Eva.
Of course. It's deeply painful for him. It makes you think about our world now with social media. How would that amplify things? The rumors, the jokes, the fear.
It would be chaos. What's the media's responsibility when something truly unprecedented happens?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Especially when it leads to practical concerns like contagion.
Is there a danger of contagion? Do they know?
They don't know. That's the scary part. Flora overhears an emergency call saying there could be a danger. They don't know.
So they fall back on existing protocols.
Exactly. Society's default: contain and control. They apply laws for mass epidemics because what else do they have?
The military sets up holding facilities.
Yeah, using the Army Corps. Basically, quarantine the unknown, isolate it.
And meanwhile, that weird telepathy thing is still happening among the hospital staff.
It keeps popping up. Conflicts because people claim they can read thoughts. It strongly suggests this isn't just about reanimated bodies. Something else is bleeding through, affecting the living.
So is locking them away the right response? Treating your returned loved ones like potential biohazards?
Ethically, it's a minefield, but fear often overrides ethics in a crisis, which leads us back to the central question. What are these reliving beings?
Because they're not typical zombies. Medically, they make no sense.
None at all. The initial reports are stark. They don't seem to use respiratory or circulatory organs. No breathing, no heartbeat.
So how are they moving? How are they reliving?
That's the mystery. The head physician, Bergwall, says there's rudimentary brain function showing on EEGs, and when that stops, then it's death, according to current definitions.
According to current definitions. Which implies the definitions might need changing.
Precisely. They are, as the book states, technically dead with all the resulting consequences for the human organism. This biological impossibility makes caring for them a nightmare. They need cold storage, essentially.
So if they lack all the basic biological signs of life, what's animating them?
That's the million-dollar question Lindqvist poses. It forces you to question everything you assume about what it means to be alive.
And yet, despite being technically dead, some show consciousness. And there's the telepathy.
This is where it gets really strange, moving beyond just biology. That telepathic link, it's not just a side effect. It becomes a new form of communication, however disturbing.
Suggesting some kind of shared energy.
Something like that. A connection that bypasses the physical. Remember the hospital staff conflicts?
Caused by reading thoughts.
And General Stenberg confirms the telepathy seems to only affect the living who are near the reliving. It's a one-way street, or maybe a reaction in the living.
Anna hears Elias's thoughts.
Yes, forming this incredibly intense, unsettling bond. Mahler resists at first, then experiences it himself, this intrusion, but also later a kind of shared feeling with Anna and Elias.
And Flora's power?
Her telepathy is broad. She picks up random thoughts, fear, but also raw hatred from people. And she learns to shield her own thoughts, which takes effort.
Imagine that. Hearing everyone's unfiltered thoughts, especially during a crisis.
Privacy would cease to exist. Trust would be impossible. It would fundamentally rewire human interaction.
It's terrifying. And the reliving themselves, they're not all the same, are they? It depends on how long they were dead, how they died.
Exactly. Big variations, which adds another layer of realism and horror. It's not a neat, uniform event.
Eva can speak, which is rare.
Very rare. Makes her valuable for study. But her voice is wrong. Metallic, raspy, like she's learning words again.
Elias, being buried for a month.
He's mummified, grotesque, orange-brown skin, sunken fissures. He doesn't speak, but he moves, swallows, even gives this tiny, faint smile later. He communicates telepathically.
And then there are the really decayed ones.
Like the drowned man Anna encounters. Bloated, white, parts missing, ribs showing. And inside him, an eel, trapped, eating its way out.
Oh, God.
Just pure body horror. He's silent, repulsive, but seems to react to strong emotions nearby.
So this variety, what does it say about what's returning? Is it the person, their soul, or just an echo in decaying flesh?
Lindqvist leaves that chillingly ambiguous, which is more disturbing. The silent decaying ones were the ones who speak with an alien voice.
Oh, they're pretty high on the nightmare scale. This naturally pushes us towards the deeper stuff, the spiritual, the symbolic.
They're caterpillars.
Ah, yes. The white caterpillars, such a strange recurring image.
Henning sees one first, right? Drilling into a gravestone.
Yeah, this pristine white grub drilling into the stone. Then David sees one coming out of Eva's blanket.
And later, he sees Eva's essence somehow transform. Caterpillar, pupa, butterfly. And Flora sees them too, burrowing out of the reliving after they're burned.
So what do they represent? It feels really significant.
Highly symbolic.
Yeah.
It suggests maybe transformation. Release, not just reanimation, but something trying to get out.
Like the soul, or the human element, as Flora calls it, trapped in the wrong vessel.
That seems to be the implication. The caterpillar is that essence, struggling. The butterfly is escape, transcendence, going somewhere else, a place where happiness exists, as David comes to believe.
That moment for David, seeing the butterfly go through the ceiling, It gives him a shred of hope back, doesn't
A
it?
fragile hope, maybe. And Flora's description is even more mystical. She sees them emerge from the fire, calls them the human element, given a visible form, and then they swell, burst, and are pulled inexorably to the other place, the place of which nothing can be said.
Wow, that's profound. It offers this poetic layer, but it's also deeply unsettling. If the body is just a shell, what happens to us?
Does it offer comfort? Or just more mystery? It definitely shifts the story beyond simple horror.
And then you have Elvy's very different, very specific spiritual interpretation.
Right. Her immediate reaction, it is the resurrection, no question for her. It fits her existing worldview perfectly.
And she has a vision of the Virgin Mary.
A vivid personal vision. Mary speaks to her, acknowledges her lifetime of faith, you can sit, Elvy, and gives her a mission.
What's the mission?
They must come to me. Their only salvation is to come to me. You must make them understand. A divine task.
And Mary gives her a physical sign.
A small, precise cut on her forehead, along with this feeling of terror, seeing the suffering that will happen if people don't repent.
So Elvy becomes a prophet, essentially.
She and her friend Hagar embark on this mission to preach Mary's message. It's a stark contrast to the scientific scrambling and bureaucratic control attempts.
It really highlights how people find meaning in crisis, doesn't it? Is her faith more comforting or more terrifying than the official "we don't know"?
Especially when neither explanation fully fits the facts. Which brings us to Mahler's perspective. Not religious, but still profound.
The green force of the flower.
Yeah. It's his way of trying to grasp what's animating Elias if he's empty inside. He asks, does some intention exist?
He compares it to a seed.
A seed dormant for centuries, then it sprouts. There's a power. The green force of the flower, what is the power of the human being?
Life is effort.
Everything is effort, work, a gift. It can be taken from us, it can be given back. It's this non-theistic awe at the persistence of life, the sheer will to exist.
Finding meaning in resilience itself.
Yeah.
Even in this corrupted form.
It's quite beautiful in a bleak way. And then there's Flora's unique insight. She sees death differently.
As an entity. Her twin.
Yeah, she perceives death not as an ending, but as a force, manifesting as her twin with a specific job to catch, to collect.
Collecting the caterpillars. The human element.
Seems so. Associated with hooks. And she also recognizes another entity, the Fisher, this destructive force from children's stories she knows.
But her biggest revelation comes from watching humans.
Right. Tragically, yes. Witnessing those young men attack and burn the Reliving, she feels their bloodlust and hatred telepathically.
And it breaks her.
Overwhelms her with grief for all humankind, leading to that devastating conclusion. This is how it is. Nothing has fundamentally changed about human cruelty, even now.
That's maybe the most chilling idea in the whole book. If death is real, what does it look like? And if humanity doesn't change even after this, what hope is there?
It suggests the real monsters might walk among us, unchanged by the apocalypse. Which really brings us to the human heart in all this turmoil. Love, loss, survival.
David's story is just heart-wrenching.
It's pure agony. Grief, then that impossible hope with Eva's return, then the horror of realizing what she's become. It shatters him.
He's grappling with someone physically there, but essentially gone.
Right. Love isn't enough to bridge that gap. He tries to rationalize, leaving those desperate voicemails for her before he knew. That magical thinking of grief.
Feeling his legs disappear when the doctor tells him. Just pure shock.
And after the rabbit incident, Magnus screaming, "I hate you," at Eva, David just carries him out, filled with his son's despair. It's brutal.
And then he finds that weird comfort in the idea of total collapse.
Yeah, the idea that if everything impossible starts happening, trolls, talking animals, Jesus returning, maybe that would be better than this mockery of normality, a total reset.
Anything but this specific horror.
He hits rock bottom, crying on the floor until he's just empty. But then, that tiny flicker with the butterfly vision.
I believe there is the place where happiness exists. Is it real? Delusion? Who knows?
Raises that question. Can total breakdown feel like a relief when your personal world is already destroyed? How do you find meaning after that?
It's a dark place to be. Mahler's journey is different, driven by guilt, that forlorn hope of atonement.
He was suicidal before this.
Considered it daily. Elias's return gives him purpose, a mission. He pours everything into caring for this mummified child.
It's a re-engagement with life for him then. Absolutely. A stark contrast to his earlier despair. He fights for Elias, giving him sugar water, watching for tiny signs, protecting him from the neighbor, Aronson.
Taking them away to the cottage. seeking sanctuary.
Trying to create space and time for, well, he doesn't know what. Just care for him, but he struggles too.
With Anna's connection to Elias.
Yeah, the telepathy, he feels locked out. He can't share that bond, and he hates that they can hear his thoughts. It isolates him again in a new way.
And then he gets separated from them.
Just adds to the tragedy. It makes you ask, what would you sacrifice for someone in that state? How do you even define care anymore?
Anna finds a different kind of strength, though. Acceptance.
Yes, after her initial resistance, she struggles with her grief, with Mahler's intensity. She tells him she's not getting her boy back. Brutal honesty.
But she connects with Elias on that other level.
Telepathically.
Yeah.
And she discovers something amazing. Her thoughts, her emotions can affect the reliving.
Like with the drowned man.
Exactly. She realizes her fear and disgust were drawing it in, so she changes her mental state. She starts singing in her mind. Nursery rhymes.
And it repels it.
It does. She learns to focus, disconnect every other thought, just keep singing. It's like mental self-defense through positive intention.
Wow. So empathy can be a weapon.
Or at least a shield.
Yeah.
She accepts Elias is gone, but a shadow remains, and she'll care for that shadow. It's about finding peace with the changed reality, letting go while still holding on.
Which brings us back to Flora's brutal awakening. Seeing not just the reliving, but the living at their worst.
Her video game view of it gets shattered. Her telepathy lets her feel the raw bloodlust and hatred of those young men attacking the dancing reliving.
She saw the dancing as beautiful, right? Awe-inspiring.
Yeah, this primordial right. Then the contrast with the mindless violence of the living is just devastating for her. Pure disgust.
Watching them beat the reliving to pieces set them on fire.
And seeing Death, her twin, step into the flames to collect the caterpillars, it culminates in that overwhelming grief for humanity. This is how it is.
The ultimate horror. Realizing the monsters aren't just the ones who came back, but the ones who never left.
It forces you to look inward. What are we capable of, even when the world ends?
So we've covered a lot of ground today. A world flipped upside down, Stockholm reeling.
The shock, the attempts to cope, the science, the symbolism, and those incredibly raw personal stories of David, Mahler, Elvy, Anna, Flora.
We've looked at what these reliving might be. The mystery of the caterpillars, the huge questions about life, death, consciousness.
Lindqvist really pushes you, doesn't he, to confront not just the fear of the dead returning,
but the fear of what we become in the face of it.
Yeah. Maybe the real horror isn't the impossible thing that happens, but the realization that even when everything changes, some parts of us, the hatred, the indifference, stay terrifyingly the same.
That's a deeply unsettling thought to end on. If the line between life and death blurs, what other fundamental truths do we cling to? What might we have to let go of to find any meaning?
And ultimately, when faced with something so reality-shattering, what part of us truly remains alive? What defines our own existence then?
Plenty to think about there. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.